Hello, everyone, and welcome to the information session for Research Administration and Compliance Programs offered by the CUNY School of Professional Studies. My name is Farida Lara, and I'm the Academic Director for these graduate programs. And Carrie Shockley, who is in the background today, available to answer questions, is one of our Associate Directors for the program. We're offering 2 certificate programs and 1 degree program. The degree program is a Master of Science in Research Administration and Compliance. And we have 1 advanced certificate in Research Administration and another one in Research Compliance. And all of the information regarding each of these is available on the respective websites. So why this program? This program was actually started because there is a need for expertise in the area of research administration and compliance in a very diverse set of settings. There are professionals required in academic institutions, research institutions, and centers, hospitals, clinics, government agencies, pharmaceutical industries, amongst others, lots of different applied sciences industries, being aviation, engineering, whatever it may be, anybody who does research, whether it be basic or applied. And in the last 10 years or so, there's been a trend toward professionalizing the roles of individuals working in this field. And the reason for that is because the field is becoming more and more complex. There are more and more regulations and more functions involved. And it really requires people who have a lot of experience and knowledge and a good foundation to actually run some of these programs at the respective research organizations. The problem we're facing is that primarily there has only been on-the-job training so far. And therefore, if you're looking for any senior level positions, you're trying to grow in the field, there's really, the primary requirement becomes you have to have about 5 to 10 years of work experience if you want to actually grow. And the more experienced individuals from the previous 10 to 15 years worth of experience are in great demand, but they're also reaching retirement age. A lot of our junior professionals lack the sufficient knowledge or expertise, and we really need to close this gap. And that was really the impetus for starting this program. So what we need are research enterprise leaders who can make decisions based on an understanding of the entire breadth of research administration and compliance considerations. Next slide. So how does our program differ? There are a couple of other programs in research administration and also clinical research administration, but they tend to focus primarily on financial research or clinical research, financial research administration or clinical research administration. And they don't necessarily cover the entire breadth of financial and clinical research administration combined with the final leg, which is the research compliance functions or the regulatory compliance functions. So we focus on all of those, and with our goal being that we want to create future leaders. We want individuals who are going to be decision makers in a research enterprise, in a research organization, not necessarily just to create administrators who are doing the day-to-day work. Next slide. All right, so once students graduate from the programs, what types of jobs are available to them? There's a variety. There are the academic institutions, research institutions, and hospitals. And amongst these, we have entry to mid-level positions, depending on your background and your experience, combined with education. And these positions are titled generally something along the lines of coordinators, administrators, managers. You may have assistant and associate directors, education specialist, quality assurance specialist, and plenty of others. And then there's the executive leadership. So if you already have a large number of years of experience in the field and you're looking to grow, you get your master's, you get your advanced degrees, you might qualify to become assistant vice presidents, associate vice provosts, etc. And then amongst government agencies, there are a lot of different diverse positions. So I didn't put any titles here because they vary significantly both from agency to agency and from the perspective of whether the government organization is a funding entity or a regulatorily oversight agency. And then finally, there are people who leave employment in this field, and many of them end up becoming consultants for a large part of their retirement. Next slide. All right, so we have a number of outcomes that we would like to achieve as part of this program. I've highlighted 3 here, which are the ones that distinguish the master's program from the certificate programs. So if you finish the master's program, in addition to being able to have an in-depth understanding of the regulatory requirements and the standards, and being able to analyze policies and formulating reports and doing investigations, you will also be able to develop and lead programs around the research, administration, and compliance field. You will be able to evaluate existing programs, and you will be able to organize effectively so that you have a good in-depth understanding of all the different functional areas, and you can serve in a leadership role where you can perform leadership and negotiation functions. Next slide. So we have a number of requirements. For the master's degree, you're required to complete 30 credits successfully. 21 of these will be in required courses and 9 electives. I won't go through the details, but you can look at these and their descriptions on our website. Next slide. And then we have the Advanced Certificate in Research Administration, which requires successful completion of 12 credits. These are all required courses and there are no electives. Next slide. And the same with Research Compliance Advanced Certificate. You're required to successfully complete 12 credits, all required, no electives. Next slide. Okay, so each of these programs has a collaborative and interactive mode of learning. So students are actually expected to engage and participate pretty heavily during the courses. And this is all done online asynchronously, so you participate at your own time. We use what's called the Blackboard Learning Platform. Some of you may be familiar with it, and if you're not, at the beginning of your enrollment, you will be given an opportunity to learn how to use the system. Our classes are designed so that we have a maximum of 25 students per class. You can attend part-time or full-time, and you can enroll in either fall or spring semester. Each semester is 15 weeks long. Next slide. Some important information. Our spring 19 application deadline is November 29th, which is coming up in a little over a month. So please do get your applications in as soon as possible. And if you need information about admissions, you can get information on the SPS or School of Professional Studies website. There's also financial aid information available on the website, and any other questions you may have. Next slide. The admissions criteria for each of the programs is that you have to have a bachelor's degree with a minimum GPA of 3.0, and we require you to submit a personal statement. With respect to that, I would really encourage you to illustrate how your personal goals and your career goals align with the goals of the program. That would be an important component to cover in your personal statement. You would be required to submit a resume. And if you're applying for the master's program, you will be required to submit 2 letters of recommendation and a possible interview. Next slide. If you have any questions that we haven't answered today, you can contact either me or Carrie Shockley, and our email addresses are provided right there.